What's up, y'all? It's Pelicans Plays here, man, and we're back with a video. I haven't done a video in a minute, man, and today we're going to be talking about the best players that the Pelicans could sign in this upcoming offseason. Now, not only sign, we can make moves for, man. So Trae Young is the first player on the list. I don't think I need to talk too much about Trae Young. We all know what he can do. But for some of you who don't know Trae Young, he's a pass-first point guard, and some of you might say, but he's a scorer, man. Man, how can you be a pass-first point guard? How can you not be a pass-first point guard and average 11 assists per game? The man has a real gift for throwing lobs, and we all know what Zion loves to do, man. He likes to catch them. He likes to be on the receiving end. We have Trae Young who likes to throw them. That'll be a nice partnership. Trey Murphy, on the other hand, he likes to space out. Likes to catch and shoot. Doesn't like to put the ball on the deck. Herb Jones led the league in catch and shoot 3-point% this past season. Now, all I'm saying is Trae Young comes off that high pick and roll, hits one of them shooters or hits the lob. It's a dangerous dynamic. Now, Trae Young, man, he does earn a lot of money. I can't lie. So the only way we'd have to give up this player would be to trade a big piece into our roster. Now, the first player I wouldn't be mad at trading is Brandon Ingram. Now, we all know Brandon Ingram struggled in the playoffs. It's no secret. Let's not hide. I love Brandon Ingram, man. What he's done for this franchise over the past 5 seasons is second to none, man. We saw him grow from most improved to winning to making an all-star game. He suffered some injuries along the way, but his attitude has been the same day in, day out. And I love Brandon Ingram, bro. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to move on from him, but it has to be done in order to get this type of a weapon. Now, we've all seen the Pelicans struggle over the past 5 seasons. Since 2019 to 2024, Zion's barely played. This is the first season he's played over 65 games. And I'm telling you right now, we saw glimpses of greatness with Zion. Now, let me read you some stats. Now, with Zion and CJ McCollum in the lineup together, the two both averaged 22-plus points per game. Now, with Zion, Brandon, and CJ averaged 18 points, Zion averaged 20, I think it was 21, and Brandon averaged only 20. Now, that's big time. So when Brandon's in the lineup, obviously CJ's production decreases, Zion's production decreases, but it doesn't really take you anywhere. Now, when we have Brandon in the lineup, yes, we win a few games, but the lineup was more successful when it was Zion and CJ. Now, when Brandon Ingram came back for that game against the Lakers in the last game of the season, the dynamic obviously changed. Zion was less aggressive. CJ was more reluctant to shoot. And Brandon Ingram was obviously struggling coming from that injury. So this is why I think we should move on from Brandon. I don't think we should necessarily move on from CJ. I think it's more of a Brandon Ingram thing. Now, I see CJ could come off the bench for us next season, or we could use him in this trade. Now, Trae Young is a big piece to get. But this guy is just as shifty, if not even more shifty, Darius Garland. Now, Darius Garland might be an easier player to acquire. He struggled a lot this season. One of his worst seasons since entering the league. He's actually in the same draft class as Zion. But we all know what a gifted player he is, man. He's an all-star. He can score 20-plus points per game. Again, he also averages double-digit assists like Trae Young. And he is more of a smaller point guard, less of a defender. But with Herb Jones on the team, I think that, we don't really need much defense in that department. Now, Brandon Ingram has been linked to this team. He was also linked to the Hawks. Brandon Ingram was linked to the Philadelphia 76ers, Orlando Magic, Atlanta Hawks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers for trade talks. Now, that man that just threw down the ball, Jarrett Allen as well, he would be a nice piece to acquire. Now, we lack rim protection. All right, it's no joke. Let's not pretend like we don't. All right, we lack rim protection greatly. With Jonas Valanciunas expected to hit the free agency market this season to become an unrestricted free agent, I don't think that the Pelicans will re-sign him, and here's why. Now, Jonas Valanciunas could be expecting around $15 million this offseason, and I don't think he's worth that type of money, especially since he's trending towards the end of his career. I think Jonas did a fantabulous. Is that even a word? I don't even know if that's a word or not. But he did a sensational job for the club, man. Like, we forget what he was really like when we didn't have Zion in that season that he broke his foot. Jonas Valanciunas was really a weapon, bro. I can't lie to you. Now he's a guy that you could go get a bucket with. Towards the end of the season, his three-point shot was almost non-existent. Now, obviously, the big man that we need to acquire needs to have a bit of a three-point shot. Pairing him up with Zion. Zion doesn't like to shoot too many threes. That's no secret. But honestly, I think with a player like Jarrett Allen, more of a rim protection would be better. And we'd be really, really lethal in the painted area. I feel like that's where a lot of teams... That's where we struggled a lot, man. Like, Jarrett Allen could hold it up. Nick Claxton could hold it up. Miles Turner's a great player. Miles Turner probably fits the best out of all three of those players that I just mentioned. However, with the Indiana Pacers making the conference finals this season, I doubt that they'll be moving Miles Turner because Miles Turner's played fantastic in this playoffs. So a player getting Miles Turner would be almost near impossible at this stage in the offseason. Now let's talk about Brandon Ingram, bro. Let's talk about where he might be moving this season, bro. So Brandon Ingram's he's got the 4-year, $208 million extension that he could sign this offseason. Now, if the Pelicans don't sign him this offseason, we need to move on from him, all right? If we don't extend him, then we need to move on from him. Because if worse comes to worse, next season, he could just move on from the club, all right? Because he could be getting an offer from somewhere else. So it'd be best to take up this offer while we can. Now, not to say that Zion and BI didn't work, but it wasn't as efficient as Mike would have wanted it to be. We didn't win many games. This season, we won 49 games, which is the franchise high. Since him and Zion joined the club together in 2019, we have lost 14 more than we've won. So that just proves that we're losing more than we're winning. Yes, we're heading into the right trajectory, but we haven't won first round. We haven't made it past the first round in 6 or 7 years. So we really, really need to make a move at some point in the offseason to acquire another superstar. Now, do I think Brandon Ingram's a superstar? Yes, I do. Just look at the glimpses of his playmaking that we just saw just then. His mid-range game is next level, but his inability to shoot a high amount of three-point shots, yes, he can shoot them, but will he be willing to shoot a lot? Probably not. Now, when we look at Trey Murphy's up for a contract extension this season as well. He can come off his rookie contract just like Herb Jones did. And in all honesty, man, I feel like Trey Murphy should be a starting small forward. He's proven it time and time again why he should be. He spaces the floor well with Z. With a player like Jonas Valanciunas banging him down in the paint, they can't come off Trey Murphy, which gives Jonas a lot more room to work. Obviously, what I just said before, I don't see Jonas back here. But I'm just saying, Trey Murphy fits a lot of teams' needs, and Trey Murphy could be a big player that a lot of teams would want. So that's why I think we need to prioritize Trey Murphy more. I like the idea of having Trey, Herb, and Z in the starting lineup. All together, big wings and big players, and he fits the team well, man. Now, Brandon Ingram, I could see him going to the Atlanta Hawks for Trae Young. I feel like we might have to throw in Larry Nance Jr. in there, and we could be getting back Clint Capella, chucking in our first-round pick from next year or the year after. We might be chucking in a few second-round picks, maybe a 2 first or something like that, just because Trae Young is leaps and bounds above Brandon Ingram, unfortunately. But it just begs the question, if we get a player like Darius Garland or we get a player like Trae Young, what could we do with CJ McCollum? Now, we all know for a fact that Trey Murphy is going to start if Brandon Ingram leaves. And we all know for a fact that Herb and Z are both starting as well. And that begs the question, will we run a small ball lineup? Will Zion be the starting center? Or will we go for a rim protecting big? That means CJ McCollum comes off the bench now. That means Jose doesn't get minutes, or if he does, that means Jordan Hawkins isn't. What are we doing with Dyson? These are all questions that I can't answer on TikTok Lives. So if you've made it this far into the video, I'm going to be doing TikTok Lives every night starting June 1st, alright? June 1st, it will be my next TikTok Live, and please tap into that, man. I'll be doing 1 hour each night, maybe even longer, just talking about the offseason, talking about the players we want, and I'll be doing a literal NBA draft live stream. I'll be talking about all the picks, especially the picks that we'll be getting, and I'll be doing another video on the NBA draft for the New Orleans Pelicans this upcoming just few days, alright? So with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all for watching the video. Thank you guys so much for, committing to me. The Pelicans community. Pelicans plays TikTok channel and YouTube channel. We're going to go crazy over the offseason. And with that being said, man, I love you guys, and I'll catch y'all in the next vid. See you later.